And yeah, I'm very happy for this whole event. And good luck and congratulations to Vicky and Mark for making this whole event possible. And I'm sure that there are many more other sessions are available. You should get to. Let's start with Lightning Web component inflows. Let me start with my introduction. My name is Hamza. You can call me Hamza or Hamza. I'm a Salesforce MVP, and I'm a founder of Pakistan Dreamin. Regarding my background, I've been for like around 8 years, 9 years for the Salesforce ecosystem, and like 17 years for the whole IT industry. I am 17 times Salesforce certified system and application architect. I'm a mentor, a speaker at different conferences, including this one, and I'm managing a community group leader, community group in Karachi, Pakistan for architects, and I do like writing blogs on my website mzas.com. So let's start. So this is the thing how I plan to things go. I mean, it can go wrong, but this is what I plan to go. So the first thing is start with praises. We'll do some praises for different things. Then we'll talk about why lacking components, and we're gonna do a live demo. I know everybody loves live demos, and we're gonna talk about the resources as well. What are the resources that you can learn more from? And at the end, we'll do our QA, and I would love to answer all of your questions. And also, you can feel free to reach out to me for any questions, even after this session. Look at this beautiful picture. Can you imagine how beautiful the nature is beautiful, right? Let's start with the basic on this one. I mean, look at the colors. Look what the nature has provided us with all these mountains, this blue sky. There are different colors you can imagine. Like green. There are multiple shades of green in this picture. Dark green, light green, brown, black, white, blue, and gray. There's a lot of things, and it is actually looks beautiful on your eyes, and you feel refreshed after looking at the picture like this or the sceneries like this. I think there's another one. Wow, isn't it beautiful? I mean, look at this. The clouds, the mountains, the valley, the trees, the water, and the man on the horse. It's all beautiful, isn't it? Now look at this picture. It's kind of same feeling, right? It has the white background. It has the different components. It has the screen component, the decisions, the assignment, the loops. You can do whatever you want. Look at this picture. I'm pretty happy, and by whenever I look at this kind of picture, how beautiful is a masterpiece of the different technology that we have as a flows here, isn't it? I know there are many people who love slows. I just look at the picture, and I just like, okay, that's it. That's it for my day. I don't need anything else to raise more positivity for the whole day. So yeah, I love flows in a way that it is more sensible. Is for everyone, even if you're admin or developer or an architect, you know how to use it, how to work on it, how to modify your flows, how to create new flows for your business requirements, and it's pretty handy. Everybody can do anything on there, so that's why I love it. And I know most of the people of you who are watching this session who also love it. And it gets more interesting and beautiful when you can customize it, when you can add more accessibility. Let's just say you have a case where which is not possible through flows, but yeah, you can cater that using the different custom development that you can do on a Salesforce platform. So there comes the Lightning Web components. Then why Lightning Web components? What are the benefits? So the first thing is, I mean, the questions comes up. Why not Aura? Was it not Aura enough? Why we have a Lightning component? We can do create the screen components for the flows. So yeah, obviously, I mean, if you have worked on Aura, so I'm just working on all those developers who have been working on the Aura platform. You know how Lightning Web Component has changed the whole game. Lightning Web Component is I mean, I'm talking about the praises here. So Lightning Web Components is also a great um, framework where you can create your components on the Salesforce platform, and it is a lot better than Aura. Aura components are good, and I'm not blaming Aura, but Lightning Web Components has the different thing, has this more stable, more faster, And development is also easier than as compared to the complexities and the limitations what we had in Aura. So that's why we are going to use Lightning Web Components in the future. And Salesforce is also going forward with this approach to start working on the Lightning Web Components and giving you the guidelines to migrate your Aura components to Lightning Web Components, because these are more futuristic approach for all those solutions. And as I've always said, Latin American companies is fast, is stable, it's scalable, there's a lot of things that is market compatible. I mean, with everything that we've been doing, with the different technologies that if you are aware of, like Ruby or JavaScript, and everything in Angular, Node.js, everything. So if you're learning Latin American components, you're not keeping track of yourself with the latest technology in the market. The benefits we already talked about, and what are the benefits of the create using the Lightning Web component in flows is that, let's just say you have a case which is not possible with the current limitation for the flows. I'm sure Salesforce team will work it to make sure that you can do it in the future, but right now you don't have it. Let's just say you are required to create a custom screen which is accessible, which is a lot of more features which you cannot do with flows. You can create a Lightning Web component with all those requirements, with all those features, and you can use that component in your flow, right? So let's just say you want to create a new account, then you contact a new opportunity, but for another object, or let's just say you need to schedule your events. You then you can create a Lightning Web component and add that screen component to that section of the flow, and which will schedule whatever the business case is, and the flow will run in the same way that you want. You can do modifications, you can add the decisions and whatnot, other DMLs and transactions that you can do in the flow. Everything you can do in the flow is also capable with the Lightning Web components. We're gonna do a quick demo as well about the new stuff that we built. I built a couple of years ago, and it is going pretty good. And we can also be creative. I mean, I know that in Lightning Web Components, you can do a lot more things. You can use external libraries, JavaScript libraries, which you can do a lot more things for you, which Flow cannot. So you can be creative, do whatever you want, and you can use it in the way it want. Plus, you can also create the components the way that the admins on your company can also modify or make those changes. So don't have to create. I mean, not everybody have to be a developer to use these external components. You can create those components in a way that it can be used anyway. Overcome the limitations, as I mentioned. So that there's something that is not available, you can do it through Lightning Web Components. Unique experiences. You don't have to stick with the Salesforce Lightning UI, although this is great. But let's just say there's a requirement that you have to do something else. You can do it through Lightning Web Components, because that's complete HTML. That whatever you want to do, you can create your unique experiences, and the intuitive design for the whole screen flows that you want to do, and it can be Android friendly as well. So let's jump in directly to the Lightning Web Components. So for all the people who haven't started working on Lightning Web Components, I will start. I will recommend you all to have a look at the Lightning Web Components. At least look at the framework, how it is, and start learning if you are interested. There's a multiple train modules, internet available, and they're full with information available for the Lightning Web Components. So for all those developers who are aware of Lightning Web Component framework, so there are, when you create a new Lightning Web Component, there are three things that you see. One is the HTML file, which contains your HTML information. The other one is the JavaScript file, which contains all of the logic that you are we're going to build. And the last one is the XML file. XML file is a meta file which allows you to configure your components information. Let's just say in this section, we have a basic detail about, the first things to say about the API version. Currently it's 46. I know it's pretty old, but yeah, we can still kind of use it. This exposed means that if you want to expose your Lightning Web components for on the approved targets. So you can also, let's just say, but I know this is not Latin Web component class, but also I want to touch base about this one as well. So let's just say you are creating a new component, and you have a child component as well. You just wanted the parent component to be visible for your admin admins or for yourself in the Salesforce, but not the child one, so that they cannot add child component directly on any page of Latin Web component or flows. Then you can simply keep it exposed false, which component you don't want your admins to be accessible to. So we're gonna to make it true. The next one is a master label, the label that you want to use for the component. Let's just say you want to drag and drop to your app builder, and you have this component available. You want to drag and drop to the second page. Which label that you want? How you want to show this component name? Because the name can be different with your master label. Your label, your Latin American component can say XYZ, but you can also change the master label so that the admin side or Salesforce side can see it a different name. That description is very important. I want everyone to use this description because this description is not just for you but for all the other developers who will be working on this component, and not just the developers but the admins as well, who want to know how you going to use this component, what this component is doing. And even for yourself, let's just say you have created a new component and you're coming back after a couple of years, and you may, if you look at the code, you would say, oh, what was the pathetic code, who written that? But the discussion will make you understand what were you trying to do back in a couple of years. So description is very helpful. The next thing which is important, which is a target that is important, and yet you're going to use, is that the targets actually defines the Latin web component, that where this component will be used. And you can use it on the record pages, you can use it on the X community, experience sites, you can also use it on flow screens and other places, also the record pages as well. So in here, for example, we are talking about the flows. So you gotta add a target lighting underscore flow screen. Once you've added this target, you will be able to use this component in your flows. When you go to the flows, you will see this component available. Otherwise, it will not. So this is essential. Once you're done with that, that's it. That's all you need. Once you have done that, you can now use your component to the flow screen. But what if you only need to pass the parameters? You can go through different parameters from your Latin web components to the flows. Let's just say you have some information that you want to show on the next screen, but the creative way. Then you can pass the record ID that a new user account that you created. You can pass the ID and the rest of the information to the other flow screen. I know you can, but what about the Latin web components? And this is how you can do it. You can do it through. So remember I talked about the three different files: the JavaScript, HTML, and the XML file. We already talked about XML file. So here we're gonna do some modification on both JavaScript and the XML file. So the first file we see here on this is the first image we see here is about the JavaScript file. We're gonna add the API at the rate API attribute, the on the before the all those variables that we're going to do communicate between flows and the Latin web components. And once we've done that, so the track, just ignore that. Just get rid about the API. So API means that all these variables may be getting posting information to the third party. So it can be either child component or it can be a flow script. Once you're done with these two attributes, or it can be one, it can be multiple. Now coming back to the XML file that we created, remember the targets? So now we're gonna add the target configuration. Target configuration, the beautiful thing is that you can have different attributes for different targets. Let's just say for the flows, you are adding two new attributes which can be configured, and you can pass different values to your Latin web components. But for the record pages, you already have some of the information, so you don't need two, but only one or maybe three. You need one more information, that which object you are using it. I mean, it can be different cases. Be creative. So in this case, you can see that in the target configuration, we have that added a target of lighting flow screen, and we have added some basic categories and random category. And this is very important. So the rule name, and rule name is not, I mean, obviously is not matching with the API names. Well, whatever you have set on the, let's just say, on this record ID and the foo, the name should match that, because otherwise it will not get the JavaScript value. JavaScript will not get those values from the flow strings. Then you can assign the type. What type is it? Is it a string, is it a boolean, the date, time, whatnot? And you can also define the role. Is it an input only, or the output only, or input and output both? So let's just say you are passing the information to flow only, and you don't need those information back. we can simply keep it output only. Or if you're getting this input only, means that flow screen can only process and pass the values to the Lightning Web component, you can simply keep it input only. Or you can do the both ways, and you can write input and output both. Once you've done that, you can see a couple of information like this. So you drag and drop your component, and you can see on this we have a simple screen which says show account. And as soon as we have drag and drop, we have the right hand side, we have current account ID. And we can pass this current account ID, whatever we have on the flow, to our Lightning Web component. And the Lightning Web component will receive this information, and you can process, you can query, you can whatever you want to do on the Lightning Web component, you can do through that. And this is how you can pass the variables, and this is how you can use the custom screen to your flows. Obviously, you cannot see preview because that's you are being creative, and flow is not much creative that they'll allow you to see what's gonna the preview of those components. I know maybe in the future Salesforce will add this feature, but right now you'll not see the preview. But trust me, it works. Live demo. Okay, now we gotta talk about this thing. So I'm gonna share my screen with you about the basic simple component that I created um, years ago. So this component is basically, let me show that to you first. So if you can see my screen, you can see that this is test add to calendar. So this is a component I created a couple of years ago, which is about adding the functionality to add your event to your calendar. So you can see the add to calendar is a link. And if I click on it, it will ask me which calendar link you want to create for the event. So let's just say this automation Dreamin, you have event created, but you want your customers to use this component to add to their calendar. They can be different cases. You can also use this component on the community. So let's just say you can have a dynamic case of if you are keeping your community for the different events. You can have those different events, date, time, and other information is specified in this component, and this can be dynamic where that it will give you the complete URL for the event. For this case, if I click on Google, it will open a new tab with all this information written where I have provided to the flow. I'm going to cover that as well. So let's just go with the code first, and we'll see a demo. We'll see live how it works. So as I mentioned already, so there are three files. Remember, so JavaScript, HTML, and the meta file. If I go first to the meta file, you can see I have the API version 48, and it's suppose it's true. I have added the master label add to calendar, and there's a version assigned to it. I've allowed this component to be used either in an app page, record page, home pages, flow screens, Lightning community pages, and the default templates as well. And here I have added the configuration only for the flow screen because I'm not sure that how many pages will be using it, but I assume that this component is being used by flow because there are a lot of things that we need to make it work. So you can use this on a flow, and that flow can be added to another component as well. So I'm getting the title, and you can also define the default values. So even if you pass the default the blank values to your flow screen component, you can still have the default values. It will be show up on the flow screen. Okay, what so just give an idea that how you're gonna have it. You can also set the example in the help text as well, as far as I remember. You can also mark even the fields are required or not. You can keep the different fields as at the end that is not required for me on this component. So, and the label can have a different value. So title, start date, end date, address, description, and the class name. Class name is basically for the design attributes that I've added. So these are the information that I'm getting from the flow screen. If I go on the, if I go on the flow, let me show that to you. Okay, here's example. In a flow screen, if I click on it, here is my component, and if you click on it, you will see these different values. So all those attributes are appearing up in here with all those default values. Isn't it amazing? Right, now let's come back to the code. Once you've done that in a JavaScript, we have these attributes like title, star, whatever the attributes that we set, and I'm using this attribute for the different functionality here in the code to make the different URLs for each service. So for Google, I've said, to just use this and add these attributes and append it in a URL, and the rest for the rest as well. To build your logic, whatever your logic is, the most important thing is how to get those parameters from your flow, and this is how we are getting it. Coming back to the flow screen, so you can see here, I'm just pausing for a minute so that it gets load for you. So this component here, as I click on it, it is giving me those attributes information. And not just that, you can also export that back to your flow if you want to, if you set it that way. You provided the internet information, whatever the information that I'm providing here will be appeared to your calendar invites. And and this component, I can add more services, all those JavaScript. So this functionality is added in here, and you can add your other flows, business cases above and beyond after that, right? So so coming back to your flow screen, so if you see, I have added this flow component here in this page, and if I click on add to calendar, it's giving me different services, and you can this is a Lightning Web component. All those information is coming from Lightning Web component, the functionality that we have built on our Lightning Web component, and it all works perfect way. Although I'm working on the different more services to bring in, and that's it. This is how you can create your flow screens, and use it that way. This add to calendar functionality is available on the GitHub. It's open source. You can use this. I can, um, and this is other services that I'm using on this component, like Flow Font Awesome for the fonts. This show toast, like when you click on it, it's gonna show you a toast. Okay, this event has been, the link has been generated and open the new URL. And this is for the loading styles from the font Awesome. And the HTML contains the basic HTML stuff that I want to do. So here are the custom, the icons and the links. Here is the button which is opening up this model box. And I think this is a pretty straightforward. And if you go back to the different resources, you will learn more about it. Coming back to our presentation, feel free to post your questions on the right hand side, and I'm gonna go that through now. Okay, awesome. I'm saying that, can you please zoom the screen? Okay, sure, why not? Which screen you want to see? Let me zoom. Try zooming in. I think that's okay, right? So let me repeat that. So these are the API attributes that you can see here, which we have been using, and this is the meta file, which through we are configuring that which flow screen can be used for, and how we are getting those attributes through our JavaScript and build your logic your own. So this was a demo, and I'm sure that this video will also be available on the YouTube after this session. So you can also have it. I also have a blog on my website. You can go through that, and you will find the similar details over there as well. Now, very important part that I'm going to talk about is the resources. I know this is the very important that you're looking for, and let me just talk about the very important. This is a very important resource. Please focus on this one. If you are not, you're gonna lose some very big information. So the first thing, very important resource I'm gonna talk about is Google. You can you can Google anytime about Lightning Web components, and believe me, the whole internet is filled with the great information about flows and Lightning Web components and how to use them in there as well. You just Google it, and you will find different brilliant minds have write blogs, YouTube videos. The servers itself have a different content available with the different use cases. You can use that, and also there are brilliant GitHub repositories available having a different use case scenarios that you can cover through it. So this is officially, I mean, this is obviously the best way to do that. Apart from Doki, there are other many very important resources. So first one is the unofficial sf.com. If you haven't been through this website, you should go. It's all open source. Many brilliant developers have been working on this, providing the different components available, available free for you. So go ahead on the website. I have also provided the QR code. You can take the screenshot of this screen and use it, or maybe go to that URL directly. It's pretty simple, unofficialsf.com. and you will find the flow screen components. There are millions of components, not a million, but there are many components available which are built in already. You don't, so let's just say there's a new functionality that you want to create, or you're looking forward to that. So you can look for this repository. It has different components available, and you might find there's components that are available for the same scenario that you're looking for. You can simply install and use that. You don't have to create it from the scratch. Even the good thing about the open source that you can also modify. Let me quickly show that to you. I know we are short on time, but I want to show that to you. I hope that you can see my screen, and you can see that there are other components available as well. So like flows, next best actions, orchestra. So let's go to the flow, and you will find the different components. It's just not the screen component, but also the actions as well. I'm going to cover the screen component. You can cover the action as well. So let's just say the advanced navigation. Although we now have this available, but this is something that you can use, having a different 12 different features. The form factor helper, the agent script calling, the auto navigate, the barcode scanner, and whatnot. These are carousel, and everything is available here. Just you click on it and use. This is a custom footer. You can create a custom footer by using this component. And here's a complete example and the code as well for most of the cases. Example given and everything. And you can go to the source code and solution URL that will take you to that back to directly to where you want to be. So this is the first source. The second one I found is a Force Panda. Force Panda is managed by Narendra Singh. He is also Salesforce MVP, and I found that he is managing a great repository for all those Apex actions and local actions in the screen components as well on his GitHub repository. I also have this QR code available on this screen. You can go through and look for the different options available created by Narendra on this repository. It's all open source. You can also modify and you install it easily. And he has provided detail about it on his blog as well. So you can check his blog, Force Panda, as well. The next one is my own repository. I also do create the different components available on GitHub, open source as well. So you can look at them as look there as well. You will find different components available being used for your different use cases, and the QR code is also available. I'm gonna wait for a second so you can take a screenshot. And the last and very important, Google. Okay, so you will find most of the information on Google. So let's just say you're not finding what you need, you can Google it. You will find different other repositories that I have not added on this presentation, and I'm sure they will be good. If not, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, LinkedIn, or even my email address, and I'll love to help you out and giving up having proper solution, and I'll as much as I can. So I'm going to keep it for now. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I cannot see which link, Ibrahim, you are looking for. The google.com. Let me know. I'll paste it in here. And yeah, feel free to ask any questions. You can DM me. You can contact me on LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever, and I'll try my best to answer all of your questions and also I can make one of you for you. I cannot see any questions, so I think either I am a very good speaker and teacher who have provided all those information to you, or either you did not get it at all. So I'm gonna wait for 2 more minutes. Sure, Ibrahim, I am gonna go back and sharing all the information. So first one was the unofficial SF. Here's the QR code. Take the screenshot quickly. Thank you everyone for joining, and I'm sure that you have learned something new here today. And don't forget to check out other sessions; those are also great. The next one is the Force Panda by Narendra Singh. QR code. Take the screenshot. And last one is my repository. Thank you so much, everyone, and yeah, see you soon for the next event. And congratulations to Mark and Vicky for organizing this great event. And I'm looking forward to also some of the great sessions presented by different speakers. So go and check it. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.